When he looked up and saw a large crowd coming toward him, Jesus said to Philip, "Where are we to buy bread for these people to eat?" He said this to test him, for he himself knew what he was going to do. My brothers and sisters, we human beings are body-soul composites. So we are soul and we are body. So we need to feed ourselves physically, our physical bodies, in order to survive. But we also need to be fed spiritually in order to live spiritually. Jesus says that we cannot survive unless we eat his flesh and drink his blood. Very dramatic words, and they're meant to be dramatic. So what does this have to do with today's gospel? Well, in the first reading, we hear how the prophet Elisha is the one who multiplies bread. So there isn't enough bread, and he feeds 100 people. So everything that happens in the Old Testament is a forerunner for what takes place in the New Testament. So this multiplication of the food, this manna that comes from heaven, all these food miracles are pointing towards something in the future. And Jesus picks up that motif. He is God. And then now again, he uses the resources that are given to him by us, the meager resources, and then he multiplies them. It's a miracle. And there's enough food for thousands of men, let alone women and children that are in the crowds as well, and leftovers to boot. So it's all there. So Jesus, he wants to feed them physically, right, from the hunger that they're experiencing. But all of this points to something else in the future. And when does that take place? At the Last Supper. When Jesus takes bread and wine, he turns it into his body and blood. See, all of this is to show the providence of God, who loves and cares for us. He provides for all of our needs, physical and spiritual. And we ask the Lord to be able to recognize the necessity that we all have. Many of us, again, we can be so consumed about what we put in our mouths, but may we be desperately consumed with the desire to receive God's word and his body, his living flesh as it is in heaven. As always, I encourage you, invite your family, friends, or neighbors, pray for them, encourage them to come to Mass, because it's only in Jesus Christ where they will find true rest. God bless you, and see you at Mass this Sunday.